Hey everybody, it's episode 3. Oh fuck, we forgot to clap. Alright, I have to keep that in. 1, 2, 3. Hi everybody, it's episode 395 of PodQuest.
Hey!
It's Tuesday, March 8th, 2022. I am Chris. With me is Tsuro.
Hello.
And Walnut.
Should I clap some more?
No, we're good now. Any more claps, I'm going to get confused when I'm syncing it. I'm just going to end up deleting your entire audio track.
You know what? That's fine. That's fine.
I've done it before, no one's noticed.
Exactly. I don't listen to the show, so I don't know
Yeah,
what
exactly.
happens. This is the whole entire show could just be us going, ah! The entire time, and none of us would know, because you edit it, you don't even listen to it.
I listen to bits and pieces of it. I was very surprised that Sean listens to bonus actions just to refresh himself on what happened between.
He told me about that when we were recording Brose last week. He was like, "Yeah, I listened to it because I realized I don't have any notes and forgot everything that happened." And I'm like, "Hey, that's what it's there for us, kind of." So awesome! I'm glad to hear it.
Yeah, I'll like I mentioned to him the other when we were recording. I'll try and start throwing like a share link in Discord for it, at least for like the between sessions, so that if you guys do need to like grab the full audio file, you can, and you can kind of like skim through it.
Yeah.
But man, it's been a long day. I totally forgot we were recording today. Also,
yeah, I knew we were recording because I'm doing my taxes tomorrow. So
that's what it. So
I have taxes. Jordan has a concert or something.
Who are you seeing, Drew?
Knuckle Puck?
Right. And you're going to Motion City Soundtrack too, right?
Yes.
Nice. Is Sarah going?
No.
What, is she not like fun?
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know if you know, but Erica got me tickets for that for my birthday.
Nice.
Yeah. I guess you had mentioned it to her that it was coming up at some point in passing.
Yeah.
So she grabbed tickets for it. Yeah, I didn't realize it. I don't know if you've actually looked at it. It was originally their 15th anniversary tour for Commit This to Memory, and now it's their 17th anniversary tour.
Yep.
Makes sense.
Yeah, because they've been trying to do this tour since 2020.
Yep.
Man, that's actually going to be the first concert I go to at the Fillmore.
It'll be my first one at the Fillmore proper, assuming I don't go see Beach Bunny there in May.
Okay. Yeah, I've actually, like, I don't think I've ever actually been to Fishtown. Like, I've just never had a reason to go up there. And the Fillmore is just far enough away that I usually don't, when I'm looking at concerts, I kind of just skip them.
Mm-hmm.
Which I probably shouldn't, because a lot of the bands I listen to go through there before they go through some of the Trock's gone. So that's basically, like, where the bands that used to play the Trock now play.
Yeah, pretty much.
I've been in the Fillmore. I think it was early on, and when it was like just becoming the Fillmore. But like not for a concert. I was a buddy of mine played in a couple bands, and I think they were getting ready to do a show there, and was either like dropping off a deposit or something. I can't fully remember, but they lived out in Fishtown, and so we went and hung out with them and checked out the Fillmore, and then went and did other stuff. It was pretty cool.
Yeah. Do they have a parking lot?
I can't remember.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, that was one thing I wasn't sure about. And I haven't looked yet. It's not like I can just take the train the way I would for every other venue in Philadelphia.
True.
So that's good. At least they have parking, and we don't have to like find like random, hopefully safe street parking.
Yeah, there's a lot like right behind the building.
Okay, that's not so bad then.
Because when I saw Anti-Flag, they were playing the Foundry, the like upstairs room.
Yeah, like the equivalent of that bar next door to Electric Factory.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah. I can't remember the name of that bar anymore. I think they changed it when they changed the Electric Factory.
Probably.
Whiskey Dick's? Is that what it used to be called? Does that sound right?
Oh,
I think so.
That's definitely the name of a bar that existed in Philly.
I know it's not North Star. That's a totally different bar.
Yeah, that's also gone.
That's where Anthony got spit on by My Chemical Romance.
That's right. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
We actually went to a show at North Star. I mean, this is again like 5, 6, 7 years ago. With one of it was a really good show. It was right before a MagFest as well, which was pretty.
Yeah, I think the last time I actually I didn't realize the North Star was gone. I think the last time I was there was when Anthony and his cousin and Nick were played there.
Yeah,
and that was like 2014, 2015.
Yeah, that's the show I was talking about too.
Okay. Oh, that's right. You were there. Forgot about that.
Mm-hmm. I loved Anthony's cousin's band, Jay Skull and Spades.
Yeah, they were good.
They still play and stuff. I don't know if he's really written new music or whatever. I haven't been and gone to any of their shows in forever, mostly because of the pandemic, and I'm not really comfortable at bars still right now, but I wouldn't mind going and seeing them again when they start playing more shows and things are better. Biden says COVID's over, so, that's good.
Well, yeah, they have to wrap up COVID for World War III. You can't have two global devastations going at the same time.
You're right. You're right.
We had World War I and the Spanish flu.
They only overlapped a little bit.
And that's World War III and COVID are only overlapping a little bit. So,
because wasn't the Spanish flu actually slightly after?
It was like
1918 and 1. Come on, Wikipedia. I'm looking for just exact dates. Okay, I definitely in my head World War I wrapped up in 1917, not 1918. So there was a little overlap there. Yeah. But still, yay! Pandemic's over. Everybody, go start licking doorknobs again. It's safe.
Again?
Yeah.
I never stopped.
No wonder you keep giving people COVID.
Yeah, but I still never had it.
That we know of.
Sure.
Anyway, Rich, what's on the agenda tonight?
On the agenda, Jordan and Cobb decided to play some board games without inviting anybody else.
There were other people there.
You were totally invited.
I don't recall being invited. But
I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna screenshot the message where you were invited, but we're busy with other shit that day.
Then Cobb played the Kirby demo. I never got around to it. I played Aperture Desk Job. And then our book club Rush. And then if there's time, we might talk about the Werewolf Within.
Oh, damn, Rich, you did say, fuck you guys, I don't want to play games with you.
Oh, my goodness.
Like, literally, those were your exact words, were, fuck you all, I don't want to play games with you.
Oh, I thought you said Friday, not Saturday. Somebody said it was on Friday that the games were played, not Saturday.
No, we played Saturday.
Oh, okay. Drew, did you say Friday earlier when you mentioned games? No, you said Saturday, too. Yeah, I don't know, Rich.
I don't know. Either way, Friday we were recording Brose, so I would have been busy either way. I just wanted to give you guys shit, okay? You always give me shit for not inviting you to things that aren't under my control, so I want to give you shit for me not remembering that you invited me to something, but not really invited me to something. All you just asked me if I was busy, and that's it.
See, it works much better, though, when it's completely out of your control and we give you a hard time. Now you just look like the asshole for forgetting that you were invited.
You know what? It kind of was out of my control because it was a family party that I didn't plan, but I had to go to. So. Yeah,
but you don't like your family. So.
Most of my family's good. There's just 2 aunts that I don't like, and I had to fight myself so hard to not cause issues and wear my Kakashi shirt that says, be a good ninja and wear a mask. I had to fight so hard to not wear that. I really wanted to wear that, but I decided not to because it was the family, quote, Christmas party, so... We had to be happy and fun.
And see, you would have been safer and healthier coming to play board games. Because everyone there was vaccinated.
Everyone at this party was vaccinated. At least they should be. Fucking one of them better be. She just got over cancer. She better be vaccinated.
I doubt it.
But yeah, it was a good time. We did the White Elephant. And my uncle pulled a Michael Scott.
With going way overboard on the price for stuff?
Yes and no. So it was a $20 limit, and my uncle wanted, he's a troll, he wanted to play some jokes, and so he put in a picture frame. It's it's a little like novelty picture frame with cats in it. The picture has no standing, anything at all, but he put in this picture frame and put it in, and it was supposed to be $20. And so my other uncle, his brother, pulls it out, and is just immediately upset. He's like, this isn't worth $20, blah, 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 this and that. And like a little bit of a hubbub, and my uncle and his wife are trying to get me or my brother to steal that from my other uncle because he's not happy with it. And we're like, why would we steal that? It's stupid. Turns out my uncle decided to put $100 in there. And so it was like, that's the whole joke of like, oh, you get this shitty thing, but you also get $100. So they wanted like me or my brother or my sister to get the $100 and not my uncle, his brother, to get the $100. But then eventually we found out that there was $100 in there, and then that became the hot item to steal every round, which I'm surprised people didn't steal that every round afterwards.
I assume somebody ended up with it at the end.
Yeah, my brother ended with it at the end, I believe. I think he stole that.
He's not going to use it on anything good. He's got kids.
I
take that back. It's Eric. He will totally use it on something selfish.
Yeah, my aunt was like, I really wanted you to steal that. Like, we wanted you to get the money. And I was like, if it hadn't already been stolen on the last round, I would have stolen it. Because our rules are, if it gets stolen in that round, you can't steal it again until the next round. So, like, once it comes to the last round, everyone's stealing everything. The first person to steal the big hot topic item, they got it. They win with it. Otherwise, it would just go forever and ever. But yeah, it was good. But let's go talk about these board games that you guys didn't invite me to.
What an asshole.
Right?
So, Drew, I don't remember the names of any of them, so I'm going to leave that up to you since they were all your games.
Yes, okay. So first we played a game called Tsuro, Tsuro. It's a real simple game. Everyone has a little token. You start at a notch on anywhere on the outside of the board, and then you get 3 tiles that you put down, and they have paths. And you follow whatever path is in front of you, and the objective of the game is to be the last one on the board, and you are knocked off the board either by taking a path that takes you back off the edge, or by running into somebody else. And it gets crazy. It got super hectic with 6 people playing. Up to 8 people can play. And I can't imagine how fast shit goes wild in an 8-player game of that.
Yeah, because, I mean, I feel like when we played when it was you, me, Sarah, and Erica, that one actually lasted a little while. Maybe like 10, 15 minutes?
Yeah.
And then when we did the one with the 4 of us plus the Appletons, that one was like 10 minutes, if that.
Yeah. And also, like, after the second turn, or by the second turn, people were already on or at tiles where they would wind up crossing paths with someone. Whereas when only the 4 of us played, it took like 3 or 4 rounds at least for people to wind up in the same spot as someone else.
Yeah, and it was very hectic with all those people, because it became much quicker where you were, like you said, not only meeting people, but hitting tiles that other people had laid, and just getting sent places.
Like, what, Sean got sent like 70% of the board on the one turn when he didn't even put down a piece.
Yeah, and like, Rich, like, you'd actually probably really enjoy this game.
I think I played a large version of it at PAX once. I remember them having like a human-sized version of it at PAX. Probably the second year. And then there's another game that's very similar to that called Indigo, which is, it's like gems instead of just like the dragon aspect of it. That like has the same deal. You have to create the paths, and you have to move your gem along the path to get to a certain spot. I can't remember what the spot is, but I've heard about games like these, and like I said, I really think I played a human-sized version of Tsuro.
Yeah, it's kind of like it's like Chutes and Ladders, but just shoots, and you're building the shoots as you go.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
but yeah, I had seen that played on No Rules Bard's YouTube channel and was like, oh, I need this, and bought it literally the day before on Amazon, because it was like, it can be here today. And I'm like, okay, cool. And then next we played a game called Wavelength, so this is a team game, and we split up into the boys versus the girls, because I felt that was the funnest way to split it up. And you are given a dial, and you spin it, and there will be a wedge that will have 2 points, 3 points, and 4 points, and getting smaller as it goes from 2 to 3 to 4. And then you have a card that will have 2 diametrically opposed things, like proof that God exists and proof that God doesn't exist, or whatever. And then based on wherever the wedge wound up on the dial, one person gives a clue to their teammates to try to get them to guess where on the dial the points are. And once you give your clue, you can't say anything else. They have to talk it out. They lock in where on the dial they think it's going to be, and then the other team gets to guess if it's to the left or to the right of where the original team guessed. And you play to 10 points, and that's that game. And
Yeah, that one was neat. It was very confusing for the first round, though, because, like, describing how to play doesn't really do it justice.
Mhm.
Like, it wasn't until we actually did that first round where we kind of, like, got to see it that it actually clicked how it was supposed to go. And then it was actually super easy. And it was funny because then it was all about, like, all right, well, who is the person giving the, like, example?
Mhm.
Like, cause, like, with that, like, the first one you pulled for the very first round was probably the worst possible 1-2 pull.
Probably.
Proof God exists, God doesn't exist. And then you being, like, the Bible. And it's like, well, fuck. That's either going to be a far one side or far the other, and it ended up being more in the middle. But then I feel like every other round we did, the items were just a little more black and white, where, like, we could tell if somebody was falling in the gray area or if they were on either far end.
It then also helped that the people wound up getting the wedge to be super far to one end or the other.
Every time. And it's
Yeah.
random. And just every time it was rolled that way.
Wait, so I'm sorry. I was looking up that picture when you started talking about it. So you guys have to take a position on these topics and argue for or against these topics?
No. So you have the dial, and it randomly, as you spin it, you're not seeing where it winds up or where it is as you're spinning. So you don't pick where on the spectrum
Mhm.
you want your clue to have to be, but then you have to give a clue that is somewhere that you think fits where the wedge is on that spectrum. And, like, you give your clue, and that's all the clue giver can say. Then the teammates have to talk it out amongst themselves. And then the other team also can be discussing among themselves. But, yeah, you give a clue based randomly where on the spectrum the wedge wound up.
It's interesting.
Yes. So, like, when it was my turn to, like, give the clue, the card I picked was, like, good and evil, I believe. And I spun the dial, and the wedge of points was on the far left-hand side, like almost to the point where it was no longer visible for good. So my one-word example was Gandhi. And, you know, like, or I don't even think it was good. I think it was peaceful or warlike.
Warlike. Yes, that's what it was, peaceful and warlike.
So, like, I said Gandhi, and, like, had it been the other side, I joked, I'm like, if it was the other side, I would have said Putin. And yeah, like Sean and Drew were just like, all right, so it's all the way to the left. And it was pretty much all the way to the left.
Mhm.
But there's a little bit of wiggle room, and like Drew was saying this too, like, because you have, like, the different point values, you want to land as close to the 4 point as possible. But if the other team guesses if you don't land on the 4, like, say you land on 3, and the other team guesses that the 4 is to the left of where you pick, they get a point.
Mm-hmm.
If they don't guess that, then they don't. So you know, like, there's that sort of that catch to it where you have to be careful with your example. Otherwise, like, your team may just, like, go too far one way, and it just makes it hard.
Yeah.
And then, you know, if the thing winds up right in the middle, or, like, just to the middle of, or to the left, or just to the right of middle, you get these spots where it's like, well, what the fuck is, like, kind of the middle ground of these things?
Mhm.
Like, what would have been the middle ground of peaceful and warlike? Like, I don't know.
Yeah, and Drew, what was this one called again?
Wavelength.
I can honestly say I probably would not have liked that game.
It's fun. Like, because the things can be so random, and then the clue someone gives can be so random, that it's a fun, goofy, like, word association.
Yeah,
basically.
it's a good game if you don't want something that's, like, rule heavy.
Yeah.
Where just everyone is kind of playing at the same time. Like, it's like a good like starter game. Like, you know, if you're having a game night and, like, not everyone's there yet, like, that and Tsuro, however you would say it, like, they're both good, like, start of the night games because they don't take long to play. Like, I want to say I would say Wavelength, maybe 20 minutes, give or take, to play it.
Yeah,
Could-
because I think we went. Did everyone wound up giving a clue before anyone got to 10 points, right?
yeah, I want to say we went around and then like maybe 2 more.
Yeah, sounds about right.
And yeah, you know, we could have kept playing, but we ended up switching to like the next game after that.
Also, food had gotten there by that point too, so it was like
Right. I knew we stopped for another reason too.
yeah.
But yeah, that was a good one.
And then last we played a game called Snake Oil, which
I enjoy Snake Oil. I
yeah,
like it.
Snake Oil is a lot of fun. It is a card game, basic, you know, like Cards Against Humanity, apples to apples type gameplay where there's a judge. Except in this, they will have a roll that you are then taking 2 of your cards from your hand to make an item to sell to that person.
Mhm.
So, like the very first round, Erica was the first person, and her job was a grave robber, and I won with a pony wig because I sold the shit out of this pony wig that she needed to go rob her graves.
Yeah, that one was definitely a fun one to play through too, just because you kind of got to be goofy and kind of banter back and forth with everybody.
Mm-hmm. I think me, you, and Sean definitely went the heaviest on the sales pitches of the things.
Yeah, I mean, my favorite one was convincing Sean, who was an executioner, that he needed a music sword. It was a sword that would play music, and I only won by at the very end. I'm just like, but picture this: you're getting ready to chop off the person's head. You turn on your music sword, and it's just blasting celebration.
I think that was down to me and you really with our pitches because I had the hood wings.
Yeah.
So I was selling it as a, you know, hey, it's an executioner hood, but it has wings, so you can just fly away after, and don't worry about traffic or anything like that. You can just fly wherever with your hood wings.
Yeah, that was
Nice.
that game was fun. We have a similar game called Cult, where it's the same idea. Like you're using a deck of cards to then like form a cult and trying to pitch everybody else at the table that they need to join your cult.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, they were like, again, like that's a good like either Snake Oil is like a good start of the night or like end of the night game.
Yeah.
Yeah, because Snake Oil, like, you could just keep playing forever. Like, in the rules, there is a technical end, but it's one of those games like Cards Against Humanity or whatever that, yeah, sure, the rules say there's an ending, but there are so many cards, why would we just stop at this arbitrary point?
Because, you know, Cards Against Humanity kind of sucks, so you should probably just stop. Yeah.
I enjoy Cards Against Humanity sometimes. Depends on who you're playing with.
I can't play that game with more than maybe 5 people, and even at that, it's really only like 20 minutes, and then I'm done.
Well, you're just boring.
I played that game so much that I don't find it funny anymore at all. None of it. And on top of that, that was the game that I almost fought John Scott over, and just never wanted to play that game ever again afterwards.
Again, it just sounds like you're not fun.
No, not at all.
Stop being boring.
I'm not boring.
I don't know, man. You decided to go to a family gathering instead of coming and play games with your friends.
I didn't know I was being offered to play games. You just asked what I was doing on Saturday. That's all.
You were busy, and I was like, I'm not going to waste the rest of my time and being like,
You know, I would have come over instead of playing D&D, because if anybody in my D&D group listens to this, I'm sorry, but that D&D session was kind of lame and frustrating. So I would much rather have come over and played board games.
Is that your weekly one?
Yeah.
You seem to not have a good time with that one. I'm gonna be
No,
honest.
I have a good time with it, but this time, the TLDR version of my issues with this session was that my scene got stolen by another character. And to emphasize a little bit more, my main villain of my backstory shows up, but also happens to be somebody else, a side character in somebody else's backstory, and that person took over the entire scene. When it's the main villain of my backstory, you guys know I'm playing Tony Stark in this campaign, it was fucking Obadiah Stane, but he kills my fucking dad and kidnaps me. My big bad villain shows up, and this other guy just steals my entire fucking scene for the entire night. And I'm just like, I guess I really don't get to interact with this big bad. Like, I don't get to interact with the person who caused me all of my problems in my life. And it was absolutely frustrating. It also ended up being until 3:30 in the morning, which, yeah. So it was just, if anybody here who listens to that, I've been meaning to reach out to the DM and let him know how I felt about it, but he's in army training right now, so I don't really know how much I could talk to him.
Oh, is like, are you guys are like on pause for a little while now?
Yeah, we need to take a month break. So he was trying to get us to a good stopping point, and which ended up causing the game to go further because my scene got stolen from somebody else.
Man, you're so fucking just my scene got stolen. Jeez, man, it's all about improv. You should have rolled with it.
When this dude takes over and gets more angry at this guy for waking him up after being in slumber for 1,000 years, rather than just letting me have my moment with my big bad character who kills my fucking dad, like, you kinda gotta, like, there's a give and take, and he just took way too much. I tried to jump in, I tried to talk to this guy. There was one point where the enemy ran off, and I chased after him, and this other player did everything they could to also chase after this guy. And it's like, I need my moment with this character. I need to figure out what's going on so that we can make a decision, so that we can end the session, because I knew what the DM was trying to do, but no one wanted to, like, play it out that way.
Yeah, no, I can understand. And you have complained about this one before.
Different DMs. Different DMs, because not this DM. I've never complained about this DM.
No, I think you just complained about the group, like, people in it.
Yeah, but it was from different game. It was how two different DMs did the game, and were doing their games. I've never complained about this DM or this specific game, but yes, there have been complaints about this group that have been known to the group and to the DMs.
Okay,
yeah.
I'll accept that. But Drew, anything else you want to say about the board games?
No, that's it, but definitely need to do more board game nights, because we have even more. Like, I didn't the other one I wanted to play, but, by the time we got done playing Snake Oil, it was late and people were getting tired anyway, was this one called Deception, Murder in Hong Kong, and it's kind of like Clue in a way, but it's way too weird to describe.
Okay.
But a person is being killed and their ghost is giving clues, and one person is the murderer and everyone else is trying to figure out who is the murderer based on the, like, a handful of, like, vague clues that tie to things that some people have on their, like, character. It's interesting.
Okay. No, that does actually sound like it could be cool. All right. Well, I played the Kirby and the Forgotten Lands demo.
How's Kirby?
He is unsettling. Yeah, the mouthful mode, super unsettling. Cool, but fucking weird. The fact that, like, when you become the car, his feet just dangle in the back, so unsettling.
A little bit.
Also, why in the world is it that when Kirby just wraps his whole mouth around something, he becomes, like, a part of it? Like, that's weird. It makes no logical sense for how Kirby's powers have historically worked. And apparently that power is based completely on him in this Forgotten Lands. But anyway, the demo's 3 levels. It's like the first 3 levels, it seems. It actually looks really nice. Like, it's a very pretty game. Definitely a Switch game. Little bit of, like, clipping in some of the animations. Some of it looks like a little bit of artifacting on Wooder, just like in Arceus, but it goes away. It actually, like, sorted itself out pretty quickly. And, like, the opening, like, cinematic was actually really, really good looking.
Mm-hmm.
And it's basically, like, Kirby's being Kirby in, like, Dreamland or wherever the fuck it is he lives normally. And he's riding one of his stars and, like, literally gets pulled into, like, a portal and gets pulled into a different land. And then he starts, like, saving people. It seems to be the setup for the story. And yeah, it is not open the way, like, I think a lot of us thought it might be based on the initial trailers. It is still very confined. Like, you have a very linear path to go on. There's invisible walls everywhere. you can't even actually fly very high. So, like, you know how, like, Kirby can just fly whenever he wants? You are limited to maybe, like, a jump and a half height-wise off of whatever level you are on. So, I was even finding that if I came up to a spot where, like, there was a ledge above me that, like, I could go around and, like, climb up to, I could not just necessarily fly up there. I had to go and actually, like, jump to the platforms to get up there correctly. And then once up on that platform, I could then fly, like, another, like I said, like, jump and a half's height, give or take. Which, like, it is enough to, you know, be on top, be, like, over enemies, or, like, avoid things, to, if you accidentally, like, fall off of the world, to, like, quickly, like, flutter yourself back up, that sort of stuff.
Okay.
It plays just like a Kirby game, though. It does have some, like, dodge mechanics and stuff like that, too. So, like, when enemies are, like, throwing stuff at you, you can do, like, backflips and slides and everything. Which, like, Kirby always had, like, the, like, slide tackle sort of thing. But because they were always 2D games, it was really just back and forth. Now you can kind of just, like, slide all over the place. You do little flips and dodges and stuff. You don't have to, swallow enemies to get their power. If you suck up an enemy that offers a power, you just automatically assume the power. Which is, like, good and bad, because, like, sometimes you don't necessarily even want to go through the hassle of having a power. You're just sucking them up to fucking get rid of them.
Man, unless it's the sword power, like, you don't always want the power.
Yeah, like, there are some of the bomb throwing guys. And, like, frankly, the bomb's kind of just useless. Like, it's not a good one to run around with, because it's so specific, that I just wasn't swallowing those guys at all, because why bother? And you can just drop the powers. Like, I think you hold, like, Y or something like that, and it's like a 3-second hold, and then it drops it. Bosses are bosses. They do just like in, like, the old Kirby games. If you have a power, you can use your power to just, like, beat away on them. If you don't have a power, they'll do moves that kick up stars that you can, suck in and then throw back at them. I'm trying to think anything else that really stood out about it. Like I said, the mouthful mode, super weird. Throughout the demo, you are a car, a vending machine, and so the car obviously drives, and if you, like, hold B, you do, like, a charge, basically, so you can, like, charge through walls and shit like that. The vending machine shoots cans of soda, so you can actually shoot cans at enemies. You can use it to bombard, like, cracked walls to knock it down. If you shoot cans of soda and they don't hit anything, you can actually run over to them and pick them back up real quick, because you do have a finite amount of them. So I started with 99 of them, and a few times I just shot them and then just ran over and picked them right back up, and it goes right back into your quantity of them. And then I was also a traffic cone a couple of times. Traffic cone was definitely the most useful of them. Not great for movement, but it has, like, basically a ground pound. So you jump into the air, hit the button, and then you slam down with, like, the pointed side of the cone.
Okay.
And you can use that to break cracked ground, and it'll usually show like, items and hidden things to collect, like the coins and whatnot. And there are a couple enemies that they're basically, like, big, like, turtles or, like, lizard things that are concrete. One of them's basically just a fucking building. He's like a turtle that just used a building as its shell. And in order to fight him, you literally, like, make your way around, like, obstacles up until the top so that you're above him, and then you just jump off a platform and pound his back once, and it breaks everything off, and he's done. The levels are very much like collectathon-y, but not to an obnoxious level, at least early on. They give you a bunch of checklist stuff at the beginning of things that you can do, like taking out an enemy a certain way, finding, like, 5 specific items, collecting certain things, freeing hidden not even allies, but the creatures that are being abducted. They are usually, some of them, hidden in a level, and if you find them, like, it'll tell you, like, hey, there's 4 of us, like, find all 4 of us, and that becomes, like, a checkpoint thing to click off. It does offer 2 different difficulty settings when you start each level, which is nice, because if you're playing it and, like, for us, it doesn't make a difference, but, like, say for, like, Eric, if he were playing this with the kids, he can put it on the very easy mode. There's only 2 options. It's super easy or normal. He could put it on the super easy mode and let, like, the girls play through it, and they'd probably be totally fine and not, have any trouble.
You underestimate Gwen.
Oh, she does play games a little bit, doesn't she?
Yeah. Oh, she plays games a lot. Yeah. She
Then-
loves Mario Odyssey.
So maybe Tabitha then. Like, she's young enough that maybe doesn't have, like, the full motor skills yet.
Mm-hmm.
And then, like, the normal mode is... It's normal mode. It's not... The wording for both of them makes it seem like the one mode is for, like, kids and it's, like, no challenge at all. And the other mode has a challenge to it. At least in the 3 levels I played, there's 0 challenge. But it's at least not just invincible, like, just run through it and there's nothing to worry about. But it's a Kirby game. So, like, those games historically have not been hard in any sense of the word. Like, there's no precise platforming per se, the way there would be in, like, a Mario game. Combat's generally pretty easy. Even bosses, you know, they have very rudimentary attack cycles. So as long as you just pay attention to that, 9 times out of 10, you can actually just fly around the boss area until you see all their attacks and then start attacking them.
Mm-hmm.
But it was still fun. Like, Kirby games have that niche of they're fun because they are simple. But I wouldn't go to this if you're looking for something that actually has any sort of, like, complexity to it.
Yeah.
So, again, it was only the first 3 levels. Maybe it does get more challenging past that. Like, the first 3 levels are almost like a tutorial, I feel. And not really sure how big the game is or, like, what might change in it.
Yeah, I mean, it's if it's gonna stick with the normal Kirby mold, there's going to be hidden levels, hidden areas, and things like that all over the place. That it's probably not going to be like an extremely difficult game. I feel like it'll be on the level of Mario Odyssey, where, like, it could be hard if you want to do everything in every level or every world or whatever. It might take you some time, but it's more a game to have fun and less a game to, like, get serious and, like, be a pro gamer about it and whatnot, if you get what I'm saying.
Yeah, I think it might fall a little closer to, like, some of the more recent, like, Yoshi games, like the Yarn Yoshi and Crafted Yoshi games.
Yeah.
Where, you know, every once in a while you might find, like, a level that has, like, a little bit of a challenge, and it's more just, like, you have to just figure out how to do it more than it's, like, hard. Versus, like, Mario games have, like, a weirdness where they are 90% easy, but there's, like, 1 or 2 levels that are just like, well, what the fuck is this doing in this game?
Yeah.
Like, there's normally, in the last 20 years of Mario, there's, like, at least 1 or 2 levels that are, like, hardcore platforming. Sunshine always had those levels, like the secret levels that were, like, the crazy platforming where you lost Flood. Even Odyssey had some of them. Odyssey, if I remember correctly, a lot of those were post-game, like, when you were going to just kind of, like, find all the secrets. But they're still there, and they're still very challenging.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas this one definitely seems like it's going to err closer to just the simplicity of the Yoshi games, and, like, that's not necessarily a bad thing. Like, hey, at least it's a cool 3D Kirby game, and I'm pretty sure we've never had a 3D Kirby game.
I think there was a 3D Kirby game on the 64.
I think that was actually still side-scrolling, wasn't it?
I'm unsure. Can't really say 100%. I just, for some reason, something's clicking in me that there was
There was a Kirby 64. I'm trying to find... Oh, no, yeah. It looks like it was actually, like, 3D, like, very, N64 3D, but still.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Kirby 64, the Crystal Shards. I definitely thought that game was still, like, a 2D platformer.
No, yeah, it was a 3D game.
Well, this one at least looks much better. Like,
yeah,
leaps and bounds.
I mean, obviously, it's not on, it's not on N64.
That's valid. But yeah, it's fun. It's a demo right now. The game comes out on 25th. Like, it can't hurt to download and try the demo if you have any interest in Kirby.
Yeah, it's definitely a game I want to get. Probably not going to get it for a while because I've gotten and started so many other games, and with Guardians being on Game Pass, I want to do that after I get through, because I still have to beat Pokemon, and I still have to beat Elden Ring, and I still have to play and beat everything else I'm working on, so it's going to be a while before I get Kirby, but I want to get it. Also, Yoshi's Crafted World is on sale for like $40 right now for March 10th, and I might get that, so I don't know if I'm going to get... I'm definitely not getting Kirby for a while.
Yeah, I would definitely say try the demo for Kirby first, if you can, because I don't think that game is necessarily like a $60 game for you. I think it may be like a $30 or $40 game, probably. but I don't think there's enough there that you're going. Because didn't you not really love like when you tried like the older Kirby game?
I didn't mind the older Kirby games. It was which one was it that I didn't like? I believe it was the Super Nintendo, one of the Super Nintendo Kirbys on the Switch that I didn't like.
Yeah, because like I have a lot of nostalgia for Kirby. I don't think you do, and even I'm having a tough time looking at this game and being like, yeah, I want to spend $60 on a game that is probably going to be insanely easy. Mm-hmm. Just because like it's not like Kirby games are known for their narrative. So like if it was super easy and had like a compelling narrative, it would be different. But it's just going to be a very easy platformer, and I think there are games that are more worth your $60.
Yeah, there's definitely so many more games out there right now that I want.
Like Ghostwire Tokyo comes out in like 2 weeks too.
Yeah, and Epic just released like a free prologue to that right now, the Epic Game Store. Or probably not right now, but I just got a notification for it that I just downloaded.
It's a visual novel prologue. Yeah. It's on everything. Yeah, because that's a Bethesda game, so I think it's only going to be PC and PlayStation right now, because it was one of the Ghostwire Tokyo was one of those games that was still part of the Sony exclusivity deal that like kind of like Deathloop, that was in place before Microsoft bought Bethesda.
Mm-hmm.
But I would say the same thing with Yoshi's Crafted World. It's super, super easy. Not sure if it's necessarily worth $40, just because like it might be too easy to the point where you get bored and turn it off very quickly.
Yeah, and it was I was not a fan of Kirby Dream Land 3 just because of how it looked. I just visually I thought it was unappealing, and so I could not force myself to play it.
That's
Kirby
fair.
Kirby 1 and 2 on the or whatever the Kirbys were on the NES.
Kirby's Adventure was on NES, and then I think the next one was actually a Super Nintendo game. I have a lot of nostalgia for Kirby's Adventure. That was the first one I played.
Mm-hmm. Kirby Superstar I don't even think is a mainstay Kirby there, so.
Yeah, Kirby games are weird just with, like, they didn't necessarily stick to like, a consistent naming convention for them, per se.
No.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
Well, it was, like, Kirby's Dream Land... the first two were on Game Boy. So it wasn't until 3 on the SNES. And it was, what was the Kirby on the NES? Switch.
Kirby on the NES was Kirby's Adventure.
Yeah. That one was a different game. Like a different storyline and everything.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know. Kirby's weird, man.
Yeah,
Kirby's
I like
weird,
him.
but I love it.
But, Rich, how about, this Aperture game?
So it is called Aperture Desk Job. And, when I first heard about it and saw, like, screen caps and stuff for it, I was like, oh, this is going to be, like, maybe, hopefully, like, what was, Office Job Simulator, whatever it was. That VR game.
Mm-hmm.
It's not. It's like only a half hour long. It's very short, and for the most part, it is a tech demo for the Steam. What's the handheld one? The Steam Box.
Steam Deck.
The Steam Deck. That's it.
Man, you really can't keep track of this stuff, can you?
I don't care about it. Like
earlier, you were calling it the Steam Link. Now it's the Steam Box.
I don't care about it. Like if I didn't get my PC, I would have wanted one, but because I got my PC, I don't give two shits about it.
I don't know, man. You can play all those PC games on the go.
Plus all of them.
Not all of them. Plus, like, you know how uncomfortable it is to play Switch games on the go? It's going to be just as uncomfortable to play the PC games on the go. I doubt that thing can play Elden Ring. I really doubt it.
You'd have to try to find out.
And I'm not going to try, because fuck it. But, so they released this Aperture Desk Job, which is just a half-hour tops little stupid thing, where it's a tech demo for the Steam Deck. It shows you how the controls work. It shows you, like, it has the gyroscopic motion sensor, and overall, it's not really like a game, but it's like sort of a game. It's weird. But it takes place in Aperture Labs, before the fall of Aperture Labs. And, you get hired to be a product tester, and the first like few minutes you're just testing Aperture toilets, and eventually you accidentally somehow create a turret toilet, where then the robot who's supervising is like, oh, that's a great idea, let's do that, and creates this toilet over the course of a few months. And it does time jumps, and so as they were bringing you down to like your quote office, it's showing you different levels of the lab, and as it's going between the floors, it shows at one point some praying mantis that then there's a light bulb, and as it does a time jump of like 3 to 6 months, I can't remember what it was, to show you the new toilet that this robot was making, it like elevates you up out of your quote office, and it shows the praying manti plugging in power. And like that's really all I was there for, was to watch the praying mantis and how they like create a society between the floors of Aperture Labs, and eventually get like force field technology in their little between floor society. It was ridiculous. It was just silly Portal humor with Cave Johnson, J.K. Simmons, being ridiculous. And at the end, you find out what happened to Cave Johnson, and then you kind of stop him or something, and then that's it. Like, there's nothing really to it, but it was silly. It's that silly humor that, even if you don't have the Steam Deck, you can still play it all fine. You just don't have the gyroscopic motion. You don't have the 4 buttons at the bottom of the, controller, so it adjusts your controls for you. And that's really all it was. And it was silly. I'm not gonna say go out and play it, but like, it's more than what I was expecting, but it also wasn't what I was expecting. Because I thought it was just gonna be something stupid that you play for a little bit and put down and then pick up and play for a little bit. Like that, it's like Office Job Simulator or something, right, Drew?
I forget what it's exactly called, but I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, there's like an Office Job Simulator, there's a Vacation Simulator. They make a bunch of those VR games, and like I was expecting something like that, but it wasn't. It was different, and it was very Portal humor-esque, which was good.
Yeah, so here's a question. Not so much about this one, but just in general. I've only ever played the Portal games. I've tried the Half-Lifes a couple times, but never really made any real progress. Like, I kind of booted them up and then stopped almost immediately.
Uh-huh.
When does Aperture fall? Is that at, like, the beginning of Half-Life?
Aperture was never in Half-Life. There might be some slight references to it occasionally, but Aperture has never been a part of the full lore of Half-Life. That is Black Mesa. Aperture, but they reference Black Mesa in the first Portal song, and they have combined the universes, and I believe at minimum in Half-Life Alyx for sure, if not in Half-Life 2, you can occasionally find some Aperture Labs, like boxes or something like that. But there's no direct connection between the two, except I think in Portal 1, they legitimately do, maybe in Portal 2, they legitimately mention Black Mesa as well. But it's never like a timeline thing to say when, where anything happens.
Okay. Alright, well that's good to know then.
Okay, real quick, looking at the wiki, Black Mesa and Aperture are entirely separate things. Like, they both exist in the universe, in Half-Life and Portal. Like, they are both there, but they were separate contractors working for the Department of Defense.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, Aperture is one thing, Black Mesa, which is the thing with Half-Life, entirely separate.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That is helpful to know.
Yeah.
But I guess, if that's all for that one...
Yeah, there really wasn't really much to talk about with that one.
Yeah, Sarah played it and was disappointed that it just, like, ends, apparently.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's a little story thing, and then the story's over. I don't know what she was expecting, like a full-on, like, if she was expecting a full-on game and whatever, then, like, that's more of a I like a shame on her type of thing, because this was for not like fully understanding what she was getting into or what she was downloading, because it was 100% just a demo for the Steam Deck is really all it's supposed to be.
Okay. Yeah, that's fair. I guess, are you guys ready for book club, though?
Yeah.
Let's do it.
All right, Drew, you picked this one. Go for it.
So I picked Rush. It is a movie based on some actual real-world Formula One racers and their rivalry in the 70s, right?
Yeah.
This is what 70s. It was?
Yeah.
Mid-70s.
Niki Lauda and...
Yeah.
I guess 74, 75, 76. Kind of the whole run of it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it definitely, it flashes a little bit. I want to say it might even go a little earlier. 70, I want to say, is when it flashed back to first.
Okay, yeah. 70 is when it first starts. And then the main chunk is like the 75 and 76 season.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought it was way more entertaining movie than the last bunch of movies we've watched. Like,
you can't tell me it was more fun than Jingle All the Way 2.
I absolutely can.
Bullshit. No. I mean, not saying that this is a bad movie, but I got more enjoyment out of watching Jingle All the Way 2 than I did out of watching this one. Not, again, saying it's a bad movie, but there were quite a few points that really didn't need to be in it, and I was kind of bored from time to time. Whereas Jingle All the Way might have been bad, but it was a ridiculous bad that made me just laugh at how stupid it was.
You also, you don't really like, not that you dislike, but you're not really like a drama person, are you?
No, like, I could get into drama, but, like, I'm not normally someone to sit down and watch drama stuff, but...
Especially based on a true story drama.
For me, it was my problem with it, and what, like, bored me, was the fact that because it was a period piece, they had to acknowledge that, and show off that, oh, it's the 70s, so obviously this guy's doing drugs and having sex all over the place, and this and that, and I'm just like, I don't need these, although maybe 2 to 5 minute montage segments, I don't need these segments. I don't need these segments of, like, I want to watch, I came into this to watch a racing movie about a rivalry, and, like, there were some parts of it that I just thought didn't need to be in there. It was a 2-hour movie that probably could have been brought down to about an hour and a half, because it felt a little bit long to me.
So those scenes, though, like, in my opinion, like, they were important to defining what each of their characters were like, because you had Thor, who was very, like, I'm gonna party, I'm gonna drink, I'm gonna do drugs, I'm gonna sleep with women, and he was very much like the rock star F1 driver, and then you had Baron Zemo, who was very much just no, I'm just here to drive, I want to be the best, I am the best. Even when he was with a pretty girl, he didn't really give a fuck. It was just like, your car is a piece of shit. Everything about your car is wrong. And he was just very kind of blunt about it. And it wasn't until he kind of got egged on a little bit that, like, he seemed to have fun with, like, the driving in that one scene. But had you not seen those, like, the multiple, like, bits of Hemsworth's character being just a lush and a drunk and doing drugs, it wouldn't have made as much sense at the end when Lauda, I don't know the actor's actual name in that case, when he was just like, and yeah, I wasn't surprised when I heard he died at the age of 45.
Well, like, and I got that within the first maybe 5-10 minutes of the movie, but there was a lot of it beyond that I'm just like, yeah, you're still filling in the idea that this dude was a playboy, basically. Like, you're still filling it in and still, like, and like, at the end, after he won, and I'm like, yeah, he's doing coke, it's the 70s, he's drinking a lot, and to me, I don't know, to me, I just felt a little, I was like, this is not necessary, to me at least. I admit I might be, one of a few people who might not think it's necessary. I also openly admit I was a little bored with the movie. Not saying it was a bad movie. It's just not my kind of movie. It was still
sounds like
interesting.
You're saying it sucked and it was bad.
No, it was interesting and it was a good movie, but it's not my type of movie to where I was watching it for a racing movie and rivalry between two people, and I just personally feel like they skipped over a lot of the racing. Like, they focused on the main parts, they focused on the crash, but like, and like the whole sequence after the crash was absolutely necessary. I 100% agree. But like, it was there. I was expecting a racing movie, and it wasn't 100% a racing movie. And I'm not saying it needs to be 100% a racing movie, but like, to me, it didn't even feel like 40% a racing movie.
I mean, realistically, it's probably like on-screen racing time is probably less than 40%.
Yeah,
but it's about their interpersonal rivalry, not necessarily just the driving.
Yeah, and you figure with something like that, like I definitely understand what you're saying. Like it didn't have much racing, because it was about the characters. Like I'm not surprised that it had very little racing because there's only so many close-ups of a person's face not really driving a car that you can do. And have it be of any interest, especially back then when, like nowadays, it would probably be a little different and potentially a little more interesting because there is so much technology involved and them talking to, like, their crew and everything versus back then where it didn't seem like they had that, like, they didn't have radios set up. Like, they weren't talking to their pit crew as they were driving. Like, they were pulling in and then being like, yep, I'm pitting. Like, like I need new tires.
Mm-hmm.
And like they could have used I mean, I don't know how much access to like archival actual race footage they could use, but like the one shot that I thought was the like worst cinematography wise was Lauda's crash. Like that was the one time it looked CG, and like I don't know that the movie would have been better with a lot more weird looking racing scenes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I don't think I went into it expecting a racing movie. I think I went into it expecting it to be more about the characters. And I enjoyed it. Like I don't know, like I would have never watched this on my own. Would have never picked it. I think I like dramas and stuff like this though, just more than probably either of you do. Like I enjoy watching like a serious movie now and again. So, whereas like Rich, I know like, you know, you don't like just action movies, but you like movies that are a little more just have more stuff going on at any given time. Like, doesn't have to be like fights and stuff like that, just more dynamic content, I guess you'd call it.
Yeah, and like my movie interests range from side to side. It's just if a comedy doesn't have a lot going on, I'll still enjoy a comedy. If it like it's just when it comes to a drama, like, I went into this not knowing it was a true story. I don't even remember if you had mentioned it was a true story when proposing this or anything like that. So I didn't know it was a true story. And I figured it was about a rivalry once it started about these two characters. And that to me, I'm like, a rivalry story can make a really good story in my opinion. And it is a good movie and it's a good story, but just the content that was provided to me wasn't fully what I was expecting, and it kind of bored me a little bit. I was expecting maybe a little bit more head-to-head race stuff, like, and even if it didn't have more like that, it's just, I don't know, for me, I didn't need the sex stuff. I really didn't. I'm just like, I didn't need Thor walking around buck-ass naked on screen. Like, it was, to me, unnecessary. Like, I understand what they were trying to get to, but they already got there within the first 5 minutes of him banging the fucking nurse at the hospital after he just had a major fight or something with another racer. Like, you already get that he's the playboy, because it showed within the first 5 minutes.
That was him getting his mojo back, because he had stopped doing that for a while, and then was like, fuck it, I need to be me to actually be a champion. Like, I get that, okay, was it 1,000% necessary? No, but it 100% fit the character.
Yeah, like, I don't know, and like, just from somebody who does actually watch a decent amount of, like, drama movies, I don't know if it would have actually struck home as well. Like, Rich, like you said, if they had cut like 30 minutes of this movie down and like cut out like some of that stuff, I don't know if it was driven home as well at the end of it when they are kind of like wrapping up and Lauda's just like, yeah, and he only raced for like 2 more years, and then he was a commentator, and then he was dead by 45. Because then it's like, oh, well, like, what fucking killed him? And like, and because I don't think they actually say he died of a heart attack in the movie, did they?
I don't think. I don't remember.
I think they did say he died of a heart attack. I wouldn't know he died of a heart attack, and I remember saying like he had heart issues or died of a heart attack at 45.
Yeah, like I looked them both up afterwards. Like Lauda just died like 3 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, like had they not like kind of like overemphasized like that was him throughout his entire career, I don't think it would have like struck home for the audience as well that like, oh yeah, no, this guy partied way too hard in the 70s probably into the 80s and like died young as a result.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, it's actual character development, something like Fantastic Four had none of.
They had plenty of it, they just forgot to put it in the movie.
I mean, they maybe did cut it and put it all on the cutting room floor, but it was a poor fucking choice. Like,
no, from what I've read, like there is a version of that movie where like there is way more character development, and because of the way that the director reacted to the cut of that film, it will never ever see the light of day. Like that motherfucker burned every fucking bridge he possibly could have, and then like so bad that he basically just like removed himself from the public for years after that. Like he had like a meltdown on social media, and I think like he deleted everything after that, but like blamed everything on everybody else. And then like it also came out that like he was not like sexually abusive, but apparently he was just very difficult to work with and like could just be like really shitty to like the actors and stuff like that if they weren't like giving him what he was looking for.
Mm-hmm.
So like yeah, like we're never seeing the Josh Trank cut of Fantastic Four, even if it does kind of fix that middle bit. But yeah, I enjoyed Rush. It was like, again, definitely not a movie I would have ever gone out of my way to watch, but like I'm not sad I watched it. Like I am sad I watched Jingle All the Way too.
You know, of the movies we've watched lately, aside from Rush easily the best movie we've watched lately. Jingle All the Way 2 might be the second best. That's how low the bar is for those other ones.
See, like, I'm not saying Silent Hill is good. I'm just saying, like, I don't personally think it is the worst movie.
I mean, come on now. We've watched, since Jingle All the Way 2, we watched Jingle All the Way 2, Critical Role, Gamera, then Silent Hill, and Fantastic Four. So you guys are forgetting about Gamera. Come on now.
Yo, I did not hate Gamera. I did not think it was I didn't think it was like a garbage movie. I just don't like kaiju movies.
No, listen, Cobb, it was bad, but it was funny bad. So maybe that is better than Jingle All the Way 2. Alright, I take it back. Jingle All the Way, Gamera, better than Jingle All the Way 2.
Yeah, like, Rich, I think I have a similar outlook on Gamera as you have to Rush. Mm-hmm. Where, like, you don't think Rush is a bad movie. Like, and like Drew said, like, Gamera is objectively, like, a bad movie, but it's, like, a good bad movie.
Yes, it's a good bad movie.
Whereas, like, I kind of have that, like, similar, like, just outlook on Gamera. Where, like, yeah, it's a fun B movie. I just don't enjoy it because it's not my type of movie. Whereas, like, Rush is a good movie. You recognize it is not a bad movie. It's just not your type of movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. But, like, whereas Jingle, I actively hated Jingle All the Way too. Like, it was very boring and very bad. I mean, as far as recent things go, I liked Critical Role. Like, that was good.
Yeah.
Even though I did not understand the Nightmare Before Christmas references. Gamera was, like, it wasn't bad. Like, again, just not my cup of tea. A lot of it didn't make sense to me. Fantastic Four is just, like, it's more disappointing than anything. But I had seen it already, so it wasn't, like, new for me. I think I actually liked it a little bit more the second viewing, because I went in with kind of, like, lowered expectations. Silent Hill is a bad movie. Like, it's not a good bad movie. It's just a bad movie.
No, it's a bad movie. Apparently, there's a fan cut of that movie that takes out all of Sean Bean's scenes, and it makes way more sense.
That's awesome. But like the only other the other one that I did not enjoy, but like I understand why you guys did, was that game show thing. I forget what it was called.
Oh, the Game Changer episode.
That is it.
Yeah. It was Game Changer.
Yeah,
Which...
like that kind of falls in like that same like in like the same vein as like Gamera for me and Rush for you. Whereas like I did not enjoy that at all. No part of that was good for me. But like I 100% understand why you guys enjoy it, and I don't think it was bad. It just wasn't for me.
Oh, they did their they finished up their Survivor. It was the season finale of Game Changer for this season, and they finished up Survivor this week, and it was so good, so good. I loved it. But yeah, and look, I'm also not saying that I hated the movie. It's just there were parts that I was just like, this is just not for me. This is kind of boring here, and I found myself going to my phone more often than not.
See, like, I found myself going to my phone a lot of, oh shit, really? That is a thing that happened? Like, when they talked about how long the Nürburgring was, I was like, wait, this race is only 14 laps? How long was this track? 11 kilometers? Or what the fuck?
Yeah,
that was real?
Yeah, I like, that's all, like, stuff I knew. Like, yeah, Nürburgring it takes almost 20 minutes to run that track, I think, something like that. It is the most hated race in any racing game. It was in one of the Gran Turismos before, and I don't think they ever put it back.
So is that not a track that they still drive today?
No, they do. I think they do.
F1 does not. Also, that version of Nürburgring has not been used in 40 years.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, so like around when they were doing it in the movie was kind of like near the end of its life.
Mm-hmm.
And it's an actual residential road as well that you can pay a toll to go and drive through with a normal everyday car.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
I will say, and like I threw this in like the chat yesterday when I was watching this. Thank fucking God I watched this yesterday and didn't wait till today. I would have never had a chance to watch it. But I think it's wild how just crazily unsafe these fucking cars were. Like, I realize, like, it is still a dangerous sport. Like, F1 is still dangerous today. Like we saw in that, in Drive to Survive last season, where the one dude, like, his car, like, exploded, essentially. And, like, he survived. But, like... If
it was a car back then, his head comes off.
Yeah, no, like, he would have been 100% dead all the way. Like, he wouldn't have been alive long enough to know that the car was on fire.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Whereas, cause, yeah, like, they showed, I forget if it was when they were still in, like, F3, or if it was right when they had both kind of gotten into F1. But, there was the accident, and Hemsworth was just like, oh, we should cancel the race. Like, a man's dead. And Lauda came through, and he's just like, it's his own fault. Like, he got cocky, took a turn the way he shouldn't have. Like, we still race. And then they showed the accident, and like literally, like it is basically the same thing that happened to the other guy, like underneath the guardrail. But because there's nothing kind of protecting like the driver, it took his like from the shoulders up off.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
and like that's insane. And like these guys are just like, yeah, this is a good idea. Why not?
Mm-hmm.
And like, yeah, no radio contact with like anybody. Like just wild how just. And like that one car had 4 fucking front tires.
Yeah.
Like, did you see that, Rich? By chance?
I did.
Did you notice it?
That thing was so stupid. I hated it, but I loved it. I wonder, like, did that actually do anything? Did it actually help, or like? I mean, I guess you should get better cornering if you can get the good grip, but your pit times have to be so fucking long with having 6 tires, especially back then.
Yeah, I don't know. I know they abandoned that after like a season, mostly because it got too expensive to be the only ones to have those 4 small tires, and to basically to have to custom order those extra tires.
Yeah.
So, but
yeah, like that. Some of that stuff was just crazy, and even just watching them pit, like having watched between like the Drive to Survive last season and like the one race I watched,
Mm-hmm.
seeing just how flawlessly like organized a lot of that stuff is, and not even so much because like they want, like the drivers want it to be, but because like if they don't do it exactly how they're supposed to, they get fined and they lose points or money or whatever. And like watching this movie where during the one pit when I think it was when it was raining, like the first time it rained, right before the crash, and the one dude just didn't pit correctly and was literally blocking the pit lane, and like Lauda's just like freaking the fuck out because he's losing time, and he's just like, "What in the fuck are you doing? Like, get the fuck out of the way, fucking move, go."
Yeah.
And then just peels the fuck out to the point where you see like the guy standing at the edge of the pit lane like dive out of the way. And maybe I misunderstood like current rules, but I got the impression they're not allowed to do that now, right? Like they're not allowed to like full speed it out of the pit lane that like he did.
Yeah.
The pits have a speed limit.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then once they reach a certain point, that's when they can ramp up to go.
Yeah, but like they kind of have to be out of that lane before they can like take off. Because I think somebody got it was either in Drive to Survive or in that race somebody got fined points or something like that for doing that. Like it might have been what's his name, Hamilton. I think Hamilton actually did it. Like he got knocked back in his starting place because of some shit he pulled like during like qualifying or practice or something doing that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was in Drive to Survive. He had stopped at the end for a standing start and then went, and you weren't supposed to do that or something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But like back then it just seems like they just did whatever the fuck they wanted because like there wasn't really anybody to tell them that they fucked up. So it was just like,
Yeah. That was probably the wildest thing for me was watching that last race in Tokyo and how they're like, oh, the pit, or the lap masters are all convening and they all have their papers and they're all checking to make sure that they have the right, lapping and race order and completion order. And I was just like, man, when I go to Dover Downs, I just look at a big fucking stick in the air and it just shows me where every racer is. Like, this is wild.
Yeah, that was the problem. Like, they had that big stick and it just, no one knew.
Yeah,
like,
it was not.
They lost track of it.
It was raining too much, and yeah, it was they because of how big these formula races are and how wide of a range it is. It's really hard to keep track of who's in what position, especially back in the 70s before all the technology we've got now.
Yeah, like that race was wild too. Like they drilled the holes in Hemsworth's mask to stop it from fogging up. And like, even though it was like torrential downpour, they're just like, oh no, we sold the television rights to this race, so you're racing whether you want to or not. Fuck all of you.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't matter that 6 months ago one of you was set on fire. And no rain.
I like that Lauda he like after one lap, he's just like, it's too dangerous. It's not worth it. But it also kind of goes to show with the way Hunt was racing, if this is actually how it went over. With the way Hunt was racing, if it wasn't raining, Lauda probably would have won the championship again. I fully 100% believe that Lauda is a better racer than him and would have won, and Hunt never would have gotten the championship that year.
Well, I mean, to that point, like, how many races did Lauda miss with the injury?
I think it was 6 races, and he still
came in second.
Yeah, he missed 6 races and declined and only ran 1 lap of the last race and lost by a point. Lost the championship by a single point. Like, Hunt had to get 3rd place or higher to get enough points to beat Lauda. Like, he's a better racer. And like, it really shows, like, it's really good that happened because, like, if Hunt actually would have continued to race, he probably would have died much sooner. And, like, I do like, cause they gave a little redemption, and I wanted to look this up to see if it was an actual true thing that happened, but after the reporter was like, how does your wife feel about your injuries, and how's she ever gonna love a man who looks like you? That Hunt went and, like, took the recorder, put it in his mouth, and bashed his teeth in, and was like, ask your wife how she's ever gonna love you, and walked away. I was just like, no, that's a good story. That is definitely a good story, right? The redemption arc, essentially.
Yeah, they did a good job kind of setting them up as not liking each other, but but having that mutual respect where like they would never be friends and like going out for a drink, but they had like a level of mutual respect that like they were watching out for one another.
Yeah, and Lauda even said that at the end. He was like, we weren't enemies. Everyone built us as enemies and rivals, but like we liked each other. We talked. When we were together, we talked. We talked about things. It's just it was on the track. We were at ends because everyone is.
Yeah. And like he even said that he was the only man he ever envied.
Yeah. Yeah.
But Drew, you are actually probably right, Drew. Like Lauda would have won or actually Rich, I think you said that, didn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry. But I wonder, so, Hunt was Hemsworth's character, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So he only raced for 2 more seasons before retiring and, like, becoming, like, a commentator. I bet if he hadn't won, he would have raced longer chasing Lauda.
Oh, he would have continued to race until he won a championship.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The only reason he quit 2 years later is because he won a championship after his second major year. Like, he would have continued if he didn't win.
Yeah, that whole bit does seem authentic though. Like Lauda really did quit after like 1 or 2 laps. Because of how bad it was raining, and like he actually couldn't see because of his burns. His eyelids were basically fucked, and his tear ducts. So his eyes were constantly watering. So between the inability to see through his mask and his eyes watering, he had no visibility. So like for him, it actually like he was the most likely one to crash again.
Yeah. And like the racing sequences they had in the movie, they were really good. Really good sense of speed. I just kind of wish like the one that really I was annoyed that they didn't show. It was after Lauda came back. I believe it was after Lauda came back. And Hunt, his car broke down near the end of the race. And Lauda wins.
Oh, right, yeah.
And I'm like, I know it's like, it could have added a little bit to it to where maybe they showed a little bit of the rivalry leading up to that race and then maybe his car breaking down as Lauda passes by him and whatnot. Like, that just would have, to me, added a little bit more to it, at least to the rivalry aspect, than some of the other stuff that I talked about. Was like, you added a little bit too much of that to build that up, and this might have built up a little bit more of the rivalry for me. Like, they still show the rivalry very great. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. Decent movie. Good pick.
Yeah.
Anything else either you guys want to say about it?
No. I think we covered it all.
Yeah. If you've got Netflix and some time, go watch it. Let us know what you thought if you didn't already. I posted about it today on Facebook on the 8th. So you can come talk to us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram about it.
Are you guys ready for the next pick?
Go for it.
All right. So I actually asked you both this yesterday, and both you motherfuckers ignored me.
I was streaming, okay? I don't respond when I'm streaming.
What an asshole. So I have 2 things, like kind of ready. Would you all rather watch a live action movie from the 80s? A like generally like well regarded, Drew, just so you know, like not something that's straight garbage. You guys both may have seen it before. I don't know. Or an animated movie that is not a Disney animation or Pixar film.
I have no preference.
Yeah, to me, it doesn't matter either way. Like,
okay, well,
if the 80s movie is Demolition Man, I'm all for it, but I don't think that came out in the 80s. I think it was the 90s.
Came out in the mid-90s.
Damn it, we need to watch Demolition Man.
Is Demolition Man available anywhere? Hang on.
I'll look, you go tell your thing.
Alright, so we're gonna watch Blade Runner.
This 93 was Demolition Man.
Earlier than I thought.
And it is, it's rentals and premium subscription on Hulu. Blade Runner?
Hey, it's on Hulu, though.
Well, it's premium subscription, so you would need, like, HBO or Stars or whatever.
Oh, really? It just just says Hulu.
Google says Hulu premium subscription.
Yeah.
I thought premium subscription was just Hulu, like, paying for it.
No, it means you need, like, one of those services.
It's just there. You can just watch it. Hulu Premium is definitely just Hulu. It's Hulu when you pay for it. Yeah. Because I think the subscriptions, they actually say, like, what other thing, because if it's on Hulu with HBO, it's also on HBO. But yeah, Blade Runner. It's Blade Runner: The Final Cut is on HBO Max. I have only seen Blade Runner once, and I want to say it was the director's cut somewhere around high school. So it's been close to, if not over 20 years since I've seen it, and I don't really remember much of it. So I thought that would be an interesting one to watch and kind of like chat about.
I remember watching Blade Runner once as well. It might have been, I know Eric was there, and honestly, Jordan, I think you were there as well. It was either you or Vogel. Don't think it was or maybe both. But like, I remember hating it, but we didn't watch the proper version. Because I know there's like one of like the 13 versions is the good version.
So it's everyone kind of has like a different take, but from what I've read online, because I was actually trying to figure this out yesterday too, the theatrical cut, the movie apparently went double over budget. Like it was 2 times what they had budgeted for it. Mm-hmm. So the producers took way more control over the final product than they normally would have. But they were funding it, so they kind of got to. So they changed a whole bunch of stuff. They added voiceover from Deckard. So like basically explaining scenes where there was no voiceover. For like an audience that wouldn't be able to just figure things out on their own. And also took out any kind of ambiguity about like, was he man or was he machine at the end? Mm-hmm. The director's cut was apparently better than that and closer to what Ridley Scott wanted it to be. And then this final cut is apparently like exactly what he wanted the movie to be.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Whether that's entirely true, whether that makes it the best version, who knows? But yeah, I thought it would be an interesting one to watch, and it is like generally regarded as a very good movie. So
yeah.
It's not more like garbage like we've done in the past. Hopefully not anyway. Like hopefully it's not just a terrible fucking time, but I think it'll be an interesting one.
It's not going to have aged well at all. I promise you.
It's not, but it's also a sci-fi movie that's, while it's based in 2019, it was like that hyper futuristic sort of deal. Not like as like it was kind of the same way that Back to the Future 2 like was in 2015. Mm-hmm. So like while I'm sure it didn't age well, I'm sure it aged better than things that were set. It'd be better than us watching something set in the 80s. Because at that point, it's just like, oh, yeah, no, these jokes don't land anymore and stuff like that. But still, it is a cultural touchstone of sci-fi. Mm-hmm. So, yeah. So that'll be 2 weeks from now, I guess. Unless, Drew, when do you go away again? I keep forgetting.
April 6th.
Okay, so that's actually a few weeks. So we will be watching Blade Runner for the episode that will go live on March 24th. Does that work for both of you guys?
Yeah.
Should.
Awesome. All right, so yeah, March 24th. I'm going to put that on the doc so I don't forget later. I guess just very quickly, I'm going to just mention this. I watched the movie Werewolf Within over the weekend. Have you guys heard of this one?
Nope.
No.
So you guys know the game Werewolf, right?
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
I did not know this. Apparently, there's a video game version of that published by Ubisoft. And this movie was made by Ubisoft TV and movie division.
Okay.
It's that game. It's the werewolf game where like one person's a werewolf and it's a bunch of people trying to figure out who the werewolf is. They don't necessarily know it's a werewolf throughout the movie, but they know something is wrong and something is killing people. It doesn't have like a star-studded cast, but it's got like recognizable faces. So like the AT&T girl is in it. And did either of you watch Veep? I don't think so.
No.
One of the guys, Sam Richardson is the actor's name. He was in Veep. I know he's been in other stuff, but Veep is like what I know him from. Like he's one of the main characters. Just a lot of like that sort of stuff. Like not necessarily people that were like super like prominent roles in like a major movie, but like faces that you see and you're just like, oh right, that person. I know them from a thing that they did. But it was fun. It's a comedy horror movie. And at one point, they are kind of like sitting around and almost doing the like werewolf game thing, like kind of like accusing each other and like discussing like who it could be and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
It is. Oh, what did we watch it on? Fuck. I think it's on like Showtime, maybe. I can't spell tonight. Jesus, what is wrong with my ability to type? I was just going bad. Yeah, so it's on Showtime. Unfortunately, it's one of those situations where you can watch it on Amazon, but with a Showtime subscription. So in order to watch it on basically anything, it's a digital purchase, not a rental. But Amazon does like the free trials, so I just did a free trial of Showtime and just canceled it the same day to watch it. And like it was fun. Like if you're looking for like a funny horror kind of movie that's just kind of goofy and like a little unexpected. Like it was at least about halfway through where like I started to like pick up on like who was actually the killer. So it's not super obvious right from the get-go.
Mm-hmm.
But and also just like some of like the ending stuff where like it wraps everything up and explains everything to you. I was more just like, oh shit, like I didn't think these things were all connected, but look at you guys, like bringing that shit back around. But yeah, it was a fun movie.
Nice. I'll have to look into it. I'll have to check it out.
Yeah, it's definitely worth it. But I think that is probably going to do it for this episode.
Yeah, pretty light week, but busy weekends lead to light weeks. I didn't get a lot of TV watching this week.
Yeah, I'm trying to just catch up on all these fucking CW shows. I got through Legends, almost finished Batwoman. Still have to watch all of The Flash, which comes back tomorrow.
I mean, their event was really good, so it's worth watching. I have to do all of Superman and Lois season 1, so you got to, and I still have to do Superwoman, or Supergirl.
Yeah, like I did finish Supergirl back in the fall when that wrapped up. I'm like an episode behind on Superman and Lois, but that just came back like 2 weeks ago, so I think I'm just maybe I'm 2 weeks behind. But I like that show a lot, so like I don't mind having to watch like a couple of those. I think Legends actually wrapped up stronger than it started, but it was still not my favorite. Not my favorite season of that show.
This season of Legends is like probably my least favorite.
Yeah, and that has generally been one of the shows that I enjoy the most.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Oh, well, super quick, there is a charity bundle on itch.io for Ukraine.
Mm-hmm.
There's like 1,000 games or whatever, or 991 items currently in the bundle. It is $10. There's things like Skatebird and 2064 Read-Only Memories, Super Hot, Baba Is You, whole bunch of stuff if people are interested.
Can you throw a link into our group chat and I will throw that into the show notes?
I will throw that right in there right now.
Awesome. Yeah, because I will put that link in the timestamp doc I have. This way I definitely see it. Because sometimes like I'm like, oh yeah, I'll come back to this from the chat later and grab that link and just totally fucking forget about it.
Mm-hmm.
Man, fucking Facebook and your weird redirect nonsense. So I right-clicked the link and just said copy link and pasted it, and it was like Facebook's like bullshit, like...
Oh.
So I had to like paste it, go to it, and then copy the link. But I got it. It'll be in the show notes. Y'all can just look at the notes, and there'll be a link to it there that you can follow and get these games and support Ukraine at the same time.
Yes, yeah, support them.
Cool. But yeah, that'll do it. If you missed it like 5 minutes ago, we're gonna do Blade Runner for our next book club. And sorry, I'm like typing and trying to keep track of everything. Other than that, though, if you'd like to find more of our content, you can head over to www.one-quest.com. You can also help us out by supporting us at patreon.com/onequest. If you can't support us there with your dollars, though, you can go to your favorite podcast platform, like Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, all the fun places. Rate us, review us, subscribe to us. It all helps a whole bunch. You can also find us on social media, facebook.com/onequestonline or at @one_quest on Instagram and Twitter. Our YouTube channel is youtube.com/onequestvideo, and you can always send us an email to social@one-quest.com. Other than that, though, we'll be back next week with something else to talk about. Thanks for listening. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.